senior TJ. But after Logan for defense, we're probably going to see Nick Bostico, Josh Damsey, Parker Hobson, and then for attack, we'll see the freshman Xander Wells and senior Brett Townsend. And then on the face-off, we'll see Brady Smith take it, most likely. He's been rocking it. He's had 34 face-offs in 3 games. It's a pretty significant number.
Yeah, not to mention the young talent on the Mason roster. And now, while we have this time left, we're going to go over the Moeller roster for starting.
Yeah, it looks like Moeller's got a lot more of a senior coming in. They've got David Pilovich, Logan Nelson, Tony Labarge, Connor Rice, Lucas Clever, Jack Ritchie, Corey Lockwood, David Denzi, and Jack Stahanzik. Just big range of seniors, it looks like. A lot of upperclassmen leadership.
Yeah, not to mention also the college commitments. Logan Nelson going to as a walk-on to Air Force. Tony Labarge to Wittenberg University. Tommy Farrell to Seton Hill. David Arway to Alabama Huntsville. And on the Mason side, we have Skylar Wallen committed as a sophomore to The Ohio State University, along with Jack Specht to Wittenberg.
And a little fun fact about that, Jack Specht and Tony Labarge, who are attending Wittenberg together for lacrosse, are actually roommates as well. So a lot of friendly competition out there tonight between those two.
And as both teams head back to their sidelines, along with the defense taking their spots, starters are setting up, and this game is just seconds from underway.
It looks like on the Mason side, some of the people who are going to look to step up tonight, the senior Brett Townsend has tied for leading goal scorer with the sophomore Justin Miller. And Brett Townsend has been starting varsity since his sophomore year, just about, whereas Justin was starting varsity last year as a freshman as well. And it's exciting to see those two match up.
And we are underway here. Mason opens up with possession. Quickly moving downfield.
And that's another face-off win for Brady Smith, which is big. You want that momentum to start off the game for Mason, especially because this is just going to be a very competitive game tonight.
Miller passing to the freshman Xander Wells. Townsend trying to work in. Passes out to Specht. Back out to Eric Thomas. Thomas driving. Recovered by Brett Townsend. And that's Jack Specht working back the Mason offense. Shot missed by Brett Townsend. Excellent block there by the goalkeeper, number 31, Paxton Krieger.
Paxton Krieger putting up some significant time and saves this year. He's about a .35 saving percentage, which is pretty good in terms of high school men's lacrosse. You know, you want to shoot for about that like .4 place.
And there's a shot there by number 24, Jack Ritchie, goes off. Mason attack is going back at it.
You know, that long pull, Nick Bostico going all the way into the goal. Actually fell into the crease after a shot, but good effort by him.
And Moeller's opening up. Working their way up. Lucas Clever currently handling the ball. Passes out to Corey Lockwood. Recovered back by Mason. And Moeller, with an excellent defensive play, gets the ball back, and they're working back on offense.
Really big hit by Moeller there to get that ball back and to stop Brady Smith from taking it.
Excellent block there. That was number 5 on the block. That was, I believe,
Logan Beach.
Logan Beach. Pardon
Yeah,
me.
our goalkeeper is in tonight, and he is getting that first save under your belt. So important.
And he is a senior, correct?
Yep.
Great to see seniors getting in their last reps as they head off to college. Moeller opens up with the ball behind the goal.
Pass picked off.
That's, I believe, Xander Wells. Pardon me, that's number 14. Sean Mather, a senior. And Mason is opening up back at offense. And this momentum, Ellie, is truly incredible for Lacrosse. And despite believe that OHSA doesn't recognize lacrosse as currently a sport. I believe next year they start up opening up to both boys and girls, right?
Yeah. It'll be a big difference to help grow the sport, especially in Ohio since it's such an East Coast dominated.
Shot blocked. That was number 21, Connor McGreeny, with the shot attempt. Moeller still on offense, working around the perimeter.
And the lookouts for Mason tonight defensively, you want to look out for Corey Lockwood from 26 for Moeller. He's leading the team right now with 8 points in 2 games. 6 of those being goals. That's a pretty significant numbers.
Working in. Gets up back out to the perimeter, passing to Justin Miller. Miller looking for a pass. Passes to Xander Wells. Wells out to Townsend. Townsend to Harrison. Harrison to Smith. Back out to Townsend. Townsend passing back out to I believe back. Back to Harrison, pardon me.
Townsend you'll see a lot kind of leading this offense for Mason, kind of just setting it up, especially being a force from behind the goal.
Spector working in, passes out to Wells. Back out to Townsend. Muff pass, and that is recovered by Moeller. Very aggressive play there by Moeller in all efforts to get back onto offense.
Yeah, you'll see some very tough scrambles tonight between these two teams. They're very competitive with each other. And especially in the state of Ohio, you know, probably a lot of these guys played football in those years, and they're going to take some of those skills onto the lacrosse field.
Moeller working behind the goalie. Looks like a Mason player is down and not looking like he's going to get up, and that's not looking good. That is 36 Justin Miller, a sophomore attacker, currently tied for the team with 10 points on the season, and that just does not look good. Trainer comes on. This is not looking good for the Comets here.
He's kind of limping a little bit, but looks like he's walking all right coming off the field, but it looks like his teammate's pointing to his knee.
And that cannot be good. Mainly with lacrosse, it's mostly running, along with, if you're on defense, that is, trying to put on as much pressure as possible onto the attackers or midfielders, depending on the play.
Yeah, knee injuries, you know, they're just tough overall. They're really hard to get over, and they can really, hopefully, you know, it's nothing too significant.
Seem like you're one of experience. And here we have a replay of the injury to Justin Miller. And you can see here it just does not look good as he gets pushed down. And on the push, that was David Denzi. We turn now to play. Hobson working in. And it's all the attackers now, trying to prevail without sophomore prodigy Justin Miller. Fugate passes out to Wells. Wells to Townsend. Townsend looking to Ethan Fetters. Down to Kevin Peischel, sophomore. And the pass is muffed. And Moeller recovers.
That could be a little bit of a detrimental ground ball, especially considering they just had one of the top scorers go up. But luckily, Moeller misses that pass. Those fundamental mistakes, those are just going to be killer tonight on both sides.
The basket. Here's another replay on the hit. As you watch there, Mason's trying to recover, gets pushed down. And Moeller defense doing an excellent job for recovery as Moeller opens up back on offense. And an offsides is called. I believe that's on, if I'm not mistaken, David Denzi.
Looks like some confusion on the field, but Mason finally picks it up. Jack Specht.
Specht with the Jukes working out the Moeller defense. To Fetters. Fetters passing it within the interior to Noah Harrison. Harrison working right. Harrison to Townsend. Townsend to Wells. Wells to Specht. Specht looking. Passes out to Fetters. Fetters trying to drive in, sees nothing. Fetters goes in, passes out to Townsend. Townsend looking to drive, trying to find a pass. Townsend to Wells. Wells out to Harrison. Harrison to Specht. Specht trying to work his way in. Moeller defense is prevailing.
Yeah, their defensive unit looks pretty strong. I think Mason's probably going to have to pick up the speed of their passing right now if they want to find a breakdown kid now. Illegal pick called on Mason there.
Ethan Fetters with that illegal pick, and looks like he's going to come out in place of number 47 for the Comets, and that's Josh Damge, I believe. Yes. And Moeller back on offense, as most of the possession has been on Mason.
Looks like we got a timeout. Moeller calls a timeout. Probably trying to maintain their possession and also get something on the board here. 3 minutes about left in the first quarter, and we've still yet to see any scores.
Again, no score here at Mason Multipurpose Court. I'm Logan Stevens, Ellie Euchre. 3:10 left in the first quarter. And during this timeout, I bet currently Moeller coaches, and we currently have a replay of the times of broadcast. You can watch this game on any day, Wednesday through Sunday, at the specified times. And we thank you for tuning in to watch ICRC Sports. And here's the hit. Look at that bone jarring there.
Yeah, the physical aspect of men's lacrosse is just, it's a huge part of the game.
So,
you know, over in the girls' side, you can't really see too much of that kind of physical contact. It's mainly just stick to body, and you can never really run anyone over. That's why there's so little padding in women's lacrosse. But over on the men's side, I mean, they're fully padded about all the way to the elbows.
A lot of parents that I know talk about the difference between letting their kids play football or lacrosse, and my parents actually, at least my mom was, encouraging me to play lacrosse, but I never got into it, and she shortly found out that it was very closely related to football and its aggressive mindset, and well, that mindset of my mother's didn't changed quite a lot after that day, and that's why I commentate now. Both teams seem like they're having an excellent defensive front, especially Moeller, given that Mason has had most of the possession.
And a flag is on the field. And it looks like some serious contact into the crease with the goalie.
Some substitutions now, 2 players, Mason, and 3 from Moeller.
Looks like Mason's going to put on their man down unit for their defense. Call there some sort of illegal hit. Kind of missed it, but got to go in the sin bin for that.
Moeller back on offense.
Hopefully they can convert on this man-up situation. I'm sure that's exactly what their coach wanted for this last two and change minutes.
Denzi passing out to Richie. Richie looking. Shot is
safe.
That save was by Logan Beach, again, his first start of the season.
Quick transition downfield for Mason. It's important. There is a 20-second time limit to get the clear into the red box for the offensive front.
Specht passing to Justin Miller, who returned from his knee injury. And Specht with the goal.
Absolutely lovely passing in there. Specht from Justin Miller has been a pretty common passing and catching kind of unit this year. A little bit of a shake and bake going on for them, and just an excellent bounce down off the goalie stick side right into the goal.
Specht is currently 5th on the team in points, now with 6. Closest competition is freshman Xander Wells with 8. And here we have the face-off. Brady Smith is in for the Comets, and on the Moeller side, I believe that's Corey Lockwood. Pardon me, Will Sturgis, the senior.
Very intense contact on Brady Smith after there. He kind of went airborne for a second, but all legal here in the world of men's lacrosse.
Richie driving, looks to pass.
I'm sure here Moeller is going to try and possess a little bit so they can try and go into the second quarter tied at least.
Denzi looking for a passer. Mason defense is really not stopping at anything to prevent Moeller from coming back from that goal from Specht. Passing back out onto the exterior. Shot is wide left. And that was David Popovich. Denzi to Clever. Pardon me. Clever. Pardon me. Good. And there's a goal. And that was by Richie, Jack Richie, the senior attacker.
And that's a tough one on Logan Beach. He seemed to have was on his knees a little bit, probably bit a hard fake. And I mean, as you can see on the replay right now, he's just going to pass to the inside and just turn and shoot. I mean, it's hard for a goalie to really recover from that just with such a quick ball movement.
Got a hand to Richie, though. That was a great shot. And we go back to the face-off. Brady Smith against Will Sturgis.
You can see the players on the field are kind of kicking the ball around to try and get into open space, and that is legal in men's lacrosse. Xander Wells recovers it, but they're going to call it out of bounds. It just touched the line,
resulting in Moeller ball. And that's the end of the first quarter. Comets are tied up with the Moeller Crusaders 1-1. As we now transition to the second quarter.
It's pretty interesting to see these 12-minute quarters, and that last one, we didn't see any points put up until about the last 3.5 minutes of the game. Or the quarter.
Right. I mean, you could see how it takes some of the offenses and the defenses to get to know what kind of team they're facing, whether it is to work their offense closer up towards the middle or to keep them down low against any goal or possible goals. And right now we only have goals from Denzi and Specht. Here's some replays of the two goals, one from Mason, one from Moeller. As you see there, it's Jack Specht with his goal. And look at that ball movement too. As you said earlier, that's very impressive ball movement.
Big key for Moeller's goal was taking advantage of being overplayed by the defense there. Josh Damge went a little too far out on his man, and his man was able to get the space to move it inside as the rest of the defense had a momentary panic about that.
Again, the current score 1-1, and as both teams take the field.
I'm sure, like you said, you know, in the first quarter, the teams were trying to figure each other out a little bit, see where the defense might break down and the offenses can really take to it. So hopefully, as this game goes on, we'll be seeing a lot more scoring and shots taken, kind of making this a very competitive match.
We're back at the face-off. Same two. Will Sturgis against Brady Smith. Sturgis, a junior, and Brady Smith, a sophomore.
So far in this game, only 3 face-offs, but Brady Smith has won 2 of them to himself, and the third one was a pretty intense scramble, and it ended up being Moeller's off of a foul.
Smith wins that face-off. Townsend gets the pass. Trying to work his way in. Loses the ball. Picked up by Moeller. Pass is overthrown. Excellent recovery there. That was number 50, Parker Hobson. Excellent defense there.
Yeah, and Mason's actually returning their 2 main defenders from last year. Both Parker and Nick Bostico started as sophomores as well. So having that experience under the belt, especially defensively, is going to be a big key to this game.
Townsend working his way on. More defender. Passes to Noah Harrison. Harrison looking for a shot. Shot bounces off the ground. Recovered by the Moeller goalie. And it's back to Moeller. McGreeny working his way in. Passes to Richie. Richie back to McGreeny. McGreeny out to Will Sturgis. Sturgis passing out to Corey Lockwood. Lockwood working up against number 11 for the Comets. That is Connor Gary. And that was a very close call on the goal. Logan Beach just moving his feet a little bit, and that made a huge difference.
It looked like he saved a bit with the tip of his toe just to get it outside of the cage.
Every inch. Mason working back on offense. Specht. Passes it, looking for Eric Thomas. Thomas working his way in. Back out to the exterior. Back to Specht. Specht to Miller. Miller working his interior. Low shot, recovered by Mason. Back to Miller. Miller looking to drive. Ball lost. And it's back to Moeller. And it's back to Mason. Excellent recovery there.
There was a lot of back and forth in there. Definitely some ground ball work is always good.
Specht to Wells. Wells looking. Goal is slightly to the left. And we have a substitution for Moeller.
Moeller's doing pretty well with their defensive unit. It looks like they're doing really well to kind of switch off from the short stick midi to a long stick defense as the attacker kind of gets closer in towards the goal, which is proving pretty effective to keep Mason out of scoring position.
Specht looking for someone to pass to. Finds Thomas. Thomas loses the ball from the pass. Wells with the short recovery, and it's back to Moeller. Moeller passing, attempted pass, recovered by Mason. Miller looking, finds Townsend. Townsend to Wells. Wells as you can see, this Moeller defense will stop at nothing to prevent a further goal after the one from Specht late in the first quarter. Moeller back on offense. Denzi. And Denzi works his way to get the goal again. And that's his second goal of the night. Moeller now leads 2-1.
Camera 4 got a pretty good
It was a great drive by Denzi there. He really took advantage of the fact that they kept a midi on him, and the short stick not always as effective as a long pull defense because you can't really keep him as in tight. And as you'll see in the replay here, he's just able to get right underneath his defender and get in and kind of just pop one in against Beach. Doesn't have to be ripped really well when you're in that tight. You really just kind of have to be able to get it just past the goalie since you're so close up. And it was a great effort by both.
Back to the face-off. Again, Sturgis working against Brady Smith. And Mason gets the win. Townsend trying to work his way in to Harrison, back to Townsend. Townsend to Harrison, Harrison to Wells. Wells looking. Wells to Fetters. Fetters to Specht. Specht looking. Finds Townsend, bounces off the goalpost. Recovered back by Townsend. Wells gets the pass from Townsend. Wells looking to drive in. Passes to Harrison. Harrison to Miller. Miller to Fetters. Fetters looking to drive in. Jukes the defender. And is knocked in, and the goal is in.
It was great speed by Fetters on that drive. He was able to get past what looked like 3 or 4 Moeller defenders, and really just they weren't crashing in. There really wasn't the second or third slide coming in. As we'll see in the replay, after he beat his first defender, there was hesitation from the second slide to kind of come in, and that's what allowed him to have so much space to get that goal. And
that just proves that speed kills. As we head back to the face-off, which you've seen quite a bit more than in the first quarter.
But we still see Mason being pretty dominant on the face-off, courtesy of Brady Smith.
Mason wins that one.
As you see there, Brady Smith actually kind of looked like he rolled it out to his teammate, Zach Holliday. Just kind of another way that instead of self-winning the face-off, using your teammates who are out on the line there.
Noah Harrison gets shoved down by a defender, and it's back to Moeller possession. Denzi passing out to Jack Ritchie. Ritchie to Rice. Denzi looking to drive in. And Denzi looks like he's going to go for a pass. Goes to Ritchie. Ritchie with the goal, his third of the night. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, third of the night, pardon me.
Yeah, Ritchie there, as you'll see on this replay, was just able to get in front of his defender, and he had so much space there to shoot. Excellent assist by his Moeller teammate, and just to see him open in that, see him coming in. I mean, the momentum of getting that run in behind the shot.
The duo of Denzi and Ritchie puts the Comets facing a deficit of 1. Moeller currently leads 3-2. Here's the face-off. Looks like Moeller wins this one. And the fight still goes on. Flag is thrown. This one is going to go against Moeller.
It looks like it's against Mason, actually. Some sort of illegal hit off the face-off. It was a pretty intense scramble in there. Like we said, we thought Moeller had it, but they're still going after the ball. It's actually a pretty significant face-off win for Moeller for them to keep this momentum so they can get a bigger lead over Mason.
Sigurdsson passing out to Clever. Clever to Ritchie. Ritchie looking. Passing it back to Denzi. Denzi back to Ritchie. Ritchie to Denzi. Denzi to Sigurdsson. And it's out on Moeller. Mason ball.
Let's go attack. Let's keep going now. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
Good transition coming up the field. Good kind of back and forth passing between Nick Bostico and
Sean Mather.
But good effort by Sean Mather to go all the way upfield. And
Specht is hammered by, I believe that's Denzi. And that was such a hit. Oh my gosh.
And Specht was on the ground, and they were still kind of going for the ball since it was still in his stick. And you know, that's legal play in lacrosse. I mean, you go until the whistle blows. But Moeller will be man down unit for their defense, and it looks like Mason will have the advantage with the 6-on-5. Oh, my mistake. Actually, Mason is still trying to work off their penalty from earlier in their game, so it will be an even 5-on-5.
Mason currently with possession.
The pass just immediately intercepted by Moeller. Kind of rough for Mason to start off with. for
Off
that
goes
possession.
the glove, and pass still prevails. As Moeller's working deeper and deeper into Mason's territory.
Great effort by David Pilovich. He lost his glove, but still managed to pass it one-handed since he couldn't put that bare hand on his stick and make a legal pass.
Lockwood looking to pass. Working on his zone defense right now from the Comets. Passes to Ritchie. Ritchie looking for Rice. Pass is blocked. Beach is going for it. Beach drops it. Hammer to the ground.
Beach better get back into the goal.
Pass picked off by, so that's number 50, Parker Hobson, as you mentioned earlier, one of the elite defensemen for the Comets, returning from last year's team, along with Nick Bostico.
Great effort by Logan Beach on that. He came out of the cage originally because he saw that ground ball, but going all the way down, he is a soccer player at Mason High School, so he has some significant speed on top of being well-skilled in the cage.
And if we know anything right now based off this game, it's that speed is everything right now. And right now, Moeller and Mason alike are showing excellent speed, great athleticism. Miller trying to juke out, and that just goes to show you that athleticism, especially lacrosse and sports like that, football, it's really everything to be an excellent, whether it's attacker, offense, defense. It takes a lot of work and effort.
Mason there, the shot went off the pipe. I want to say about the third shot that's gone off the pipe for Mason. And hitting the pipe is always kind of a killer in lacrosse. It means you were just about half an inch.
And here's a replay of Logan Beach just trying to drive his way out.
There you see he went for that ground ball, but saw the opportunity. Lots of green in front of him.
And then you see he just gets slapped.
Originally, he had kind of dropped his stick to the other side to try and protect it, but unfortunately, cradling a one-handed like that kind of lost a little bit of his control over it. Had he prevailed, would have been an excellent move.
Really proved to show you how, even giving up 3 goals, still has a lot of gas in the tank.
In this 1-goal lead with 2 minutes left in the half, you know, a 1-goal lead in a sport like lacrosse is almost just like being tied up, really, because of just how quickly the game can kind of turn around. As we saw in the JV squad, Mason was leading 7-2, but in the last quarter, Moore came all the way back,
Scoring four
goals
yeah.
to make it 7-6. So,
And it was a great finish, too. Again, Comets won 7-6. Great victory for the JV Comets. Miller passing to Speck. Miller. Townsend back to Miller. Miller to Speck. Speck back to Miller, working along the exterior. Townsend, Wells. Shot is blocked. Speck was the shooter there. And Moeller is taking it to the house.
kind of an unfortunate turnover for Mason there, considering they did have a man-up possession, but unfortunately unable to convert on that.
And here looks like we're going to have a timeout. Current score, Crusaders lead the Comets 3-2, 1:47 left in the second quarter. And while we take this time here, let's go over what's been going on in both Mason and Moeller's season right now. Ellie?
Well, Mason's started off the season pretty rough. They had an 0-3 run. But that 0-3 run kind of showed a lot of heart from Mason.
And I hate to interrupt you here, but we're going to have a replay.
Ethan Fetters coming in. His goal was, as we said, speed kills.
As he gets drilled in the upper body. But still the goal goes in, all clean. Great shot, though.
kind of taking it high to low, a little bit of sidearm in it too. The goalie can't really, track that completely if it's coming from all different angles, it looks like. But going back to their seasons, Mason started off 0-3 with losses to Hudson, Dublin Kaufman, and Olentangy, all just huge competition up in the north. But the losses to Hudson and Dublin Kaufman were both 1 point, which shows a lot of promise from this Mason squad. Their lone win against Springboro, very solid 13-1 win, but they suffered a fourth loss against Olentangy Liberty, again a powerhouse up in Columbus, with a loss of 3-12.
As we return to the game, Moeller will open up on offense.
And with about a minute and a half left in this game, that's definitely enough time for a possession for each team, for sure. But Moeller is probably going to do their best to try and keep Mason from that possession, because they don't want to go into this half tied up. They want to go in with the lead.
Clever looks to pass, passes out to Denzi. Denzi looking, going for the goal, backs out, looking for any sign of a open man, looks to juke. Denzi passes out to Richie. Richie to Lockwood. Shot is blocked by Logan Beach, and here comes the Comets.
Good effort by Logan Beach. He got that save and immediately passed it out to Sean Mather for a really quick clear to try and get that fast break. Unfortunate turnover there.
And as you said, it's back to Moeller. And the shot is wide right by Lucas Clever.
Just about 20 seconds left in the half now.
Rice working his way in. Clever again. Shot misses. Moeller takes over with 9.7 seconds left in the quarter. Richie looks to drive. Shot is off target. 3.4 seconds left. Moeller again with possession. And Moeller gets in the last second goal. Corey Lockwood. Excellent goal there. Short range, but very excellent goal. It's honestly something that you'd see in like soccer, the Barclays Premier League. Excellent goal there.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge for Moeller. As you can see, the guys on the field are just absolutely thrilled about that.
Here's a replay of Lockwood's astonishing goal. As you can see, Moeller's offense working on the outside, and then you see Lockwood cut in and go right to the goal. We are in halftime right now. Crusaders lead the Comets 4-2. Hello and welcome back to Mason Multi-Purpose Court. I'm Logan Stevens alongside Ellie Euchre. And Ellie, it's been one heck of a game already. Covered back by Mason.
Yeah, looking over the first half, kind of some significant numbers. As we know, it's 4-2 Moeller right now, and Moeller's
Noah Harrison.
Jack Ritchie has put up 2 of those goals. So he's going to be a force that Mason's probably going to have to play a little bit tighter on. But looking at some other significant numbers, looking at some significant numbers, as you can probably see on this replay package, Ethan Fetters getting that goal for Mason, just speedy quick. When we talked about it, we always said that speed kills.
That's an excellent way to put it, too.
And seeing some of the big hits for Moeller and Mason, kind of a significant number there is Moeller has 4 caused turnovers where Mason only has 2. And Moeller also is out shooting Mason with 13 shots versus 8 and has 11 ground balls compared to Mason's only 6. So some of that possession thing is really showing up in the score.
Back to the face-off. Brady Smith against Will Sturgis.
And another quick stat on that. Mason won 6 out of the 7. I'm sorry, 5 out of the 6 face-offs for the first half. So
now it looks like that's going to be a penalty against Moeller for a push. Probably a little more than a push. Here's a replay of that hit by Sturgis.
it's
Pardon me,
coming
that's
in.
not Sturgis.
It's coming in from the back, and that's what makes it illegal. I mean, you can hit your guy from the front, almost as hard as you want, but the second you take it on from the back, if he doesn't know you're there, it's just too dangerous. The refs have to call it.
Now it's Connor McGeaney on that hard hit against Brady Smith. Comets currently on offense.
And starting off the half with a man-up unit, but just there, you see that interception. Moore's really got that taken down. And looks like a flag will be thrown.
Ball dropped there by Moeller, number 4, David Pilvich. And it looks like Moeller will still retain the ball.
Mason will be a man down, get in their man down defensive unit in there. And it looks like both teams will start their offensive possession off with a man up. See if Moeller can convert on theirs.
Denzi to open things up for the Crusaders on offense. Denzi passing to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson. Denzi looking for a shot. Shot is blocked, recovered by Jack Ritchie. Ritchie and David Denzi have definitely had a lot of contribution to this Moeller offense. Not to mention that I believe Ritchie has assisted in 2 of the 4 goals by, or pardon me, opposite way. Denzi's assisted Ritchie in 2 of the 4 goals.
Yeah, they definitely have a bit of a shake and bake going for them and the hot hand tonight.
Denzi passing a far shot, blocked by Logan Beach. Great block there. Beach passing out to number 3.
It's like it'll be Zach Holliday who completes
yes.
the clear over the freshman Xander Wells, who we haven't seen, too much tonight, but hopefully he can shine, kind of come up and put up some points for Mason.
Wells currently 3rd. Third. We have a tie for 1st for goals. Wells with 8.
And just a beautiful goal by number 36.
Justin Miller.
Yeah, Justin Miller, the sophomore, sophomore captain on top of that. you know, he's kind of fading away from the goal. He just turns and rips it top corner, top cheddar. So you'll see in the replay here, uses a screen from one of his teammates to get space on his defender, and just the speed on it, you know, the goalie's just a little bit helpless in that. He really just cranked all the way back. His torso was completely twisted.
Smith versus Sturgis on the face-off. Ground ball recovered. Well, not recovered yet. Looks like Moeller's going to get that. That was Adam Coleman on the recovery. Lockwood working up against a very aggressive Mason defense. Kind of turning the tide. Yeah. Moeller's defense was very, very aggressive, whereas Mason's was sometimes aggressive, sometimes a little neutral.
Yeah, Moeller's definitely kind of, their defense has more of a mindset of, that's my ball, give it back. Whereas Mason's kind of trying to protect their goal a little bit more as opposed to kind of attack on the defensive side.
Fisher looking to drive in. This is first action of the night. Ball is going to go out, and it's Mason ball. Hobson to throw it in. And it looks like he's going to pass out to Holiday. Holiday looking for a target. Holiday's going to drive in. He's going to give a grounder out to Justin Miller. And it looks like it's going to be an offsides on Mason. Moeller ball.
Actually, for that, Mason was unable to complete the clear in the needed time, and it's a delay of game.
Oh, pardon me.
You know, for men's lacrosse, you have to get it into that red box on the offensive side within 20 seconds. Otherwise, it's a turnover. And that kind of rule is implemented really to just prevent any sort of stalling. You know, just having the goalie kind of hold the ball in wait. That way to eat some clock and kind of take away from the action.
And David Denzi with his first goal of the night. And that makes Moeller's lead 5-3. And Denzi, again, the powerhouse here. And that's Denzi's second goal of the night. Again, Denzi and Jack Ritchie are the main two contributors, as you can see from that replay. And right now, it's all Moeller for the second half.
And that shot, very similar to Justin Miller's that we saw, just kind of ripping it from outside, not really giving the goalie too much of a chance to recover for it.
Looks like Mason's going to scoop up the ball, and it's still being batted down. Mason's going to get Justin Miller with a recovery.
It was a great effort for the face-off on Moeller there. They know that Brady Smith has really been getting the ball for himself a lot, and so he's kind of taken to boxing him out and kind of just not even letting him try and get to that ball.
And a muff pass intended for Speck results in a turnover, and it looks like another turnover on top of that.
Beautiful back check there by Mason. You know, Moeller was hanging his stick, and he took advantage.
Moeller recovers after a muff pass, and they're back on offense, really pushing the tempo here against this Comets defense that's already seen 5 goals on target and successful. And
underthrown pass. Looks like Moeller will still prevail. Lockwood passes out to, believe that's Jack Ritchie, and Ritchie gets his 4th goal of the night.
Yeah, Ritchie got it in just in between the pipe and Beach there, it looked like. Again, these outside shots are kind of taking over a bit in the game. And as you see, Beach immediately looks out, trying to see if it was on the outside of the cage.
What a shot there.
Great to take advantage, you know, if you give him just enough space. These guys are just going to rip it every time. And this 3-goal advantage for Moeller kind of taken away from Mason's momentum.
And Moeller is quickly advancing up to the field. Fisher to Lockwood. Lockwood looking for someone to pass to. Receiving a little defensive action. Out to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson looking to drive.
Moeller looking like it's going to take a bit of their time to try and set up, kind of let it play out from behind.
And an overthrown pass resulting in Mason pickup, and looks like it's a turnover there.
They're going to call offsides on Moeller. You know, just a toe over the line there, and that's offsides.
Wells passing to Harrison. Harrison looking for someone to pass to. Specht out to Fetters. Fetters to Wells. Wells' shot is slightly muffed. Great defense there by Moeller.
Looks like they're going to call that out of bounds on Moeller. Looks like he probably had a foot out of bounds when he tried to go back and kick it, which counts as him having the ball out of bounds, which is good for Mason, so they don't lose this offensive possession, because they need to convert on this one, try and get their momentum back.
Fetters looking to drive. Goal is off target. Moeller takes over.
Fetters' drive there looking a lot like the one where he scored on, getting past defender to defender. And a lot like as we just saw Moeller right there, getting past a couple of defenders and into the hands of Nick Bostigo. Looks like a little bit of a tracking right now.
And Bosco recovered that after Ritchie was looking to move, but ball came out of his stick and resulted in a Mason turnover. Wells currently with the ball, passing out to Specht. Specht working back out to midfield, out to Justin Miller. Miller working inside. Looks to drive in, looks to shoot, and scores! Justin Miller puts on the Comets to now to 4. 6-4 still, or not still, but 6-4 Moeller, as Justin Miller reduces the Crusaders' lead by 2. Or 2-2, pardon me.
We saw Miller take that shot earlier. I mean, just crank back completely and rip it, and he hit that top corner just perfectly. And honestly, he made it look a little bit effortless as well, as he just kind of glided by his defender to get that inside and to get that space, and to be able to just crank it hard and right into that top corner. Stick side too, meaning that was just too fast for the goalie to stop.
If there's one thing to love about Miller, it's his athleticism.
Scramble for the ball here. Looks like the freshman may come up with it. It's into the hands of Sean Mather, the senior.
Mather passes out to number 20. 20 is Brady Smith. Mason's main guy for face-offs.
And this is a good face-off to win. Coming off that goal, Mason wants to tie this game up, and they still have 2 more goals to go.
Speck looking to drive in. And his shot bounces off within the inner circle, and Mason goes back on offense. Townsend to Wells. Wells back out to Speck on the perimeter. Wells to Fetters. Fetters, I believe that's a Harrison. Harrison looking to drive in, can't see it. Wells to Townsend. Townsend to Speck, back out on the outside. Speck loses the ball after he looks like he was trying to shoot, resulting in a Mason turnover.
Back check. Good job, Ethan. Good back check. Keep going with them, Ethan. Stay with run with them, Ethan.
A little bit of a just fundamental mistake there by Speck, who is one of Mason's main offensive forces, especially being a captain. He really kind of drives the offense.
Flag goes down. Lockwood still trying to drive in. Mason's defense is definitely not laying out anything. They're trying not to prevent any further goals within this frame of just under 2 minutes. Moeller working behind the goal. Shot is off target. Secondary shot is off target.
And Mason will go man down off of that flag earlier, which I'm guessing was some sort of illegal hit on that kind of ground ball scrum we had at the beginning.
Here's
See
a replay of that.
Replay of the shot taken at the last second. Great effort. However, just missed the mark. Those bouncer shots are pretty tricky. You got to know how the turf will bounce, and you got to know just where to place it to make it reach that top corner.
Beecher was doing everything he could to prevent any further goals. As Moeller will go back on offense.
And watching Mason's man-down defensive unit, they're really sliding to make sure that they have more guys covering the ball side and kind of leaving those guys open on the opposite side, you know, in hopes that they have to make that giant skip pass to get it.
And there's an out-of-bounds call on Moeller. Mason will receive the possession. Pass is muffed, and Moeller will take over. Less than a minute to play. And Denzi's goal bounces and goes over the net.
And those are goals that you'll see pretty often in men's that, you know, they may be a little wide, maybe off target, but they're okay to take just because as long as you have that backup in lacrosse, the rule is whoever's closest to the ball where it goes out off of a shot will retain possession. So having that guy behind to back up that shot every time.
Speck looking for a shot. Beach with the save. Less than 30 seconds to play. Moeller recovers.
Beach kind of just passing that ball downfield as quick as he could to try and give Mason the fast break opportunity when it wasn't necessarily needed. 30 seconds is a lot of time in men's lacrosse.
5 seconds.
Big collision there as Mason's defense is doing everything to prevail.
This is an excellent hit by Bostico to, you know, stop Moeller from possibly getting that last shot off. Letting them have that last possession there could have ended much poorly than it did, but luckily the deficit is only 2, and in a game like lacrosse, a deficit of 2, you're still not comfortable if you're Moeller. You want to increase that to about 5 or 6, honestly, before you feel like you can lax up a bit.
That was an excellent pun on that.
I just did
No
not
pun
mean
intended.
to make that.
But as the third quarter comes to a close, the Crusaders lead the Comets 6-4. 12 minutes left to play.
Far more impressed with the shot selection in the second half, as we saw by Ritchie and Miller. Both of those going at the outside shot and just absolutely cranking it back and ripping it. I mean, that's something that you see the guys like Miles Jones from Duke Lacrosse in Division I NCAA taking, or Sergio Perkovic from Notre Dame.
And here's a replay of some of the third quarter action.
There's that first one taken by Miller.
Let's go, Noah. Come on, Brett.
And up for Ritchie's shot where
Step up
just
now.
down off stick low on the goalie is just a sin spot.
Come on, Brady. Come on, Brady.
To get this last quarter underway, Mason's definitely got to be out on a mission right now, getting these possessions and getting the ball out of the Moeller end especially, and then getting the points on top of that to tie up this game.
And as fourth quarter action begins, Moeller looks like they're going to win this face-off. Recovered by Mason. And that just goes to show you that anything can happen within a few frames of a second.
Unfortunate turnover there. I didn't really see the foul. I'm assuming it was an off-ball foul, but not how Mason wanted to start off this fourth quarter.
Denzi looking to drive in. Pass is dropped there by Lockwood. Lockwood to Ritchie. Ritchie passes out to Rice. Rice looking for the shot and scores.
That's a tough one right there. Parker Hobson was really trying to go for that interception and kind of overplayed Ritchie. Ritchie was able to come all the way in and complete that shot, and it was just really a 1v1 on Beach. Not the position you want to be in.
That makes the score Crusaders lead 7-4. 11:19 left to play. As we head back to the face-off, Sturgis versus Smith. Smith for the Comets, Sturgis for the Crusaders. And Smith looks like he's going to be victorious, but
He will be. It was a trip on the Crusaders giving Smith the possession.
Harrison passing to Wells. Wells to Specht. Specht out to Justin Miller. Miller to Wells. Wells looking to work inside. Passes out to Harrison on the wing. Harrison looking to drive in. Jukes it, looks to juke his defender. Settles with the pass to Specht. Specht nearly jukes out his defender. Passes out to Eric Thomas.
Good recovery by Moeller's defense. It was pretty frantic in there for a minute, but they were able to recover and not let Mason get that shot off.
Miller is pushed down, and that will be a turnover for the Comets. Flag goes down.
It was an off-ball hit there by Mason, by Specht specifically, who will take his minute in the sin bin. Just not what Mason needs in this fourth quarter. You know, getting mad, you kind of will take hits where you're kind of uncontrolled a little bit, and that's not what you want to see when you're trying to get these goals back.
You got to keep yourself under control whenever you're facing a deficit. Because most times not, you're going to find a way to try to come back.
As we see here, Mason's going to try to do that with the remaining 10 minutes left. Moeller working along the outside. Ritchie looking for the goal. Goal goes off the sidebar. Beach recovers.
Great pickup by Beach. Getting that ball before it went back out of his crease so he can have it nice and protected.
Hobson to Smith. Smith jukes his defender. Smith working down into Crusader territory.
Mason going into this offensive position still a man down. So they'll probably want to try and work it off as best they can. And there it is right then. Jack comes back in. The only problem with trying to work off a penalty in men's lacrosse is that there is a shot clock that can be turned on at the ref's will.
Looks like Mason's having a lot of general stick malfunctions, I guess. Looking to pass and ball falls out early. It's just those little things that are going to make difference between a win or a loss here for the Comets.
Yeah, those slight fundamental mistakes, passing and catching, this just ends up being more possession time for Moeller. And more possession time means more shots is more goals. So, working on those fundamentals every day, especially in a game like lacrosse where you're working with a completely new piece of equipment.
Lockwood going to take it out. Passing to Clever. Clever finds Rice. Rice looking for a drive in. Rice passes out to Denzi. Denzi passes over the head of David Pilpovich.
However, Moeller will recover. Guessing that pass got tipped by a Mason stick.
Lockwood currently with the ball. Drops it off to Brendan Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson looking to drive. Bullet pass underneath. A little undercut there. Blocked.
It was a nifty little shot he was kind of looking for. Bounced right off the pipe. You could hear it all the way up in this press box. Again, the curse of the pipe.
Block pass. Ritchie trying to work his way inside.
Looks like got a shoe on the field.
And that shoe belongs to Corey Lockwood.
Yeah, Lockwood forced to come off. Can't touch the ball if you have illegal equipment. And a timeout called by Moeller. Smart timeout there, taking out one of your players because he lost a shoe. Bit obnoxious, but it happens.
And as we enter into this timeout, Crusaders currently lead the Comets 7-4. 6:27 left to play in the game. And while we have this timeout, Ellie, who do you say are the key players as we're winding down towards the end of the game? Who do you say, as of now, key players for both Mason and Moeller?
Well, for the Moeller side, we've seen Ritchie pretty much working really well all game. Not only getting the goals, but also getting the assists. Looking at this last goal, you can see coming in and just taking advantage of the space that he got after being overplayed.
And I believe that was Connor Rice, junior attackman. But nevertheless, Moeller's offense is definitely one of the finest in the state of Ohio, for sure.
Yeah, and then on the Mason side, I would give it to Logan Beach. You know, even though he's the goalie, he's made a significant amount of saves, and I definitely think he's been working the ball and giving Mason's defense a decent amount of confidence as well to just be staying strong in the cage. He's not really letting this get to him too much. He's still exploding out to the ball, getting the step on the ball, and trying to get big as to not let the shooters get in too tight.
Moeller to open up with possession. Jack Ritchie out to Rice. Rice to Lockwood. Lockwood back to Rice. And Rice scores his second goal of the night.
Rice right on the post, and his second goal of the night, once again, a one-on-one with Beach.
Making the score 8-4. Comets have a bigger deficit to come back to, and especially with a home court situation. Comets wouldn't want to come out losing this big game against Moeller. As you mentioned earlier in this broadcast, Ellie, a very sentimental rivalry between the two teams.
They don't meet very often, but when they do, it always seems to be a very tight contest. They play each other very hard. Much more of a friendly rivalry, though. Ball's way on Mason's defensive end, recovered by Bostica, though, to get into the clearing.
Bosco passing Connor Gary. Gary passing to Harrison. Harrison back to Gary. Gary comes off. In comes Specht. Specht passes to Miller. Miller looking to work inside. Gets driven back out. Looks to drive again.
And Justin Miller has a pretty hot hand tonight. Spoke too early, actually. Noah Harrison comes out of nowhere. I wasn't even expecting that shot. And just rips it top corner. Stick side as well.
Beautiful shot.
Pretty beautiful shot, honestly.
Here's a replay of that excellent shot there by Noah Harrison. As you could see, slides it in, bounces off the ground into the goal. What a play.
He really moved like around his defender, kind of used the defender as a screen almost for the goalie. I'm sure the goalie could barely see his stick coming with the ball coming right out of it, which allowed him to get that goal. Absolutely excellent goal.
Ball still up for grabs. It looks like there's going to be a penalty going against Mason. Moeller will have possession as Moeller hopes to put an end to Mason's comeback. McGeaney to Ritchie. Ritchie trying to work his way in. Still driving in against Bostica. Sets a pick. I believe that was Lockwood to set the pick. Ritchie still having the ball. Nearly an interception there.
Great recovery by Zach Holliday, kind of picking up. Looks like Coleman out there, I believe. No, I'm mistaken. McGeaney. His defender kind of overplayed him a little bit too much, Connor Gary, and Zach Holliday was there to pick him up to kind of force him to take in not exactly the shot he wanted.
Rice passes in. Lockwood scores the goal.
And again, there seems to be a bit of a miscommunication. That's the second time we've seen Moeller have a guy on the doorstep and be able to just get a 1v1 on Logan Beach.
And Beach is trying to talk his team into a better strategy of play to prevent any further Moeller goals.
And it is only 4:15 left in the game. And while you said time is precious here in Lacrosse, Moeller now has a 9-5 lead. Again, with limited time.
Although the record shows it does only take 6 seconds to score a goal in men's lacrosse.
Well, if the Comets can do that, that would be very superb here at Mason Multipurpose Field, especially in front of a home crowd.
Foul on the face-off on Moeller. Mason will pick it up and be able to get an offensive possession. We haven't really seen Mason on the offensive side. Actually, scratch that. No, we saw Noah Harrison's beautiful goal just a moment ago. How could I forget that one?
And it looks like Mason's going to substitute in their core offensive guys. They put in Specht and Miller.
Moeller's going man down as well. This is a perfect opportunity for Mason to convert and shorten this lead.
Miller out to Townsend. Townsend to Wells. Wells to Harrison. Harrison's goal is wide left. Out of bounds on Moeller. Townsend inbounds it to Miller. Miller looking for passer. Pass to Specht. Specht. Wells looking to drive in. Out to Harrison. Harrison. Townsend. Townsend to Miller. Looking to shoot. Doesn't see the shot. Miller to Specht. Specht on the outside. That was Townsend looking to shoot.
And we are even again on a 6v6.
Thomas trying to work his way in. Loose ball recovered by Moeller. Moeller back on offense.
An excellent steal by Moeller's Stahanzik. Really showing off his speed as well.
Ritchie working against Bosco. Ritchie looking to drive in. Sees an open lane. Backs out. Ritchie passing over to Sigurdsson. Back to Ritchie. Ritchie looking to drive in. Looks for someone to pass to. Finds Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson looking for someone to pass to.
And just there, the refs actually called essentially a stall warning on Moeller and told them they had to keep it in the red box.
Beach with the save. And it's back to Mason possession. Harrison currently with the ball. Harrison to Townsend. Townsend.
Inside to Specht, I believe, and just a very crafty shot by Specht. Kind of scrappy as well. He really was kind of falling down as he got it and was kind of caught it a little awkwardly as well, but able to get the shot off, which just kind of shows tenacity and a will to get that goal in. So
again, here's the goal by Jack Specht. Just see how close of a shot it was, and the goalie really didn't have much time to react to it. Really caught him off guard.
And an excellent pass by Brett Townsend as well. The assist, he had really great field sense on there. Knew where Specht was, and was able to get that pass into his space where Specht was going to be able to get that shot off really well.
We currently have a timeout. Crusaders currently lead 6-9, or pardon me, 9-6. What am I thinking? 1:45 left to play. Here's a couple replays here. A few goal action. Rice with 2 goals currently in the quarter.
And both of those able to just get in really personal with the goalie. There's Noah Harrison's gorgeous shot.
And there's Ritchie's shot. And then Specht, almost like an alley-oop kind of. trying to translate it into basketball.
Come on, Brady, you gotta win it.
Now on that note, let's go to the face-off.
John, get there.
And we've said it a couple times how critical these face-offs are, but coming down to the wire, less than 2 minutes left in the game, all these face-offs from now on are probably going to be the most important in the game for Mason and for Moeller as well. Moeller needs to keep the ball so they can secure this win, whereas Mason needs to get this ball so they can deny it for Moeller.
Ball still up.
Keep going, Brady. Keep going.
Sticks are flying everywhere, and looks like Mason trying to recover. Looks like Moeller gets the recovery.
Moves it up to Tommy Farrell, who will bring it into the box for Moeller. Oh, the pass is tipped off by Mason's stick and recovered by Zach Holliday.
And as you mentioned, Tommy Farrell, we really haven't seen that much action from him. Again, a college commit to Seton Hill, trying to get his minutes in for tonight's game.
I kind of missed it there, but Zach Holliday had just absolutely beautiful ball handling skills. Was able to kind of keep the ball away from his defenders and almost going vertical, looking like he was about to drop it, able to recover it. That's mainly contributed to the men's lacrosse stick has a very deep pocket, especially compared to the women's lacrosse stick, who is said to have no pocket essentially, whereas the men's is able to get faster shots off and to be able to handle that ball while the sticks attacking them the whole time.
Moeller to take over with 40 seconds left on the clock. As Speck's shot was little right of the goal in hopes of cutting the lead to 2. That's out of bounds on Moeller. Mason will take over now.
22 seconds left here. Mason really just needs to get these shots off now.
Shot is blocked. Flags are flying. And again, the aggression of the lacrosse is really kicking in now.
Looks like a bit of unsportsmanlike conduct coming from both teams, but both the Mason and a Moeller player are coming off. Not really sure who the ball is going to be given to.
11.8 seconds left to play.
Justin Miller will start with the ball for these last 11.8 seconds.
Miller to Speck. Pass to Wells is incomplete, and it's Moeller ball with 5.5 seconds.
And you could say that's just about the ball game as the clock winds down.
And that will be it. Moeller comes out victorious here at Mason Multipurpose Court. Moeller wins 9-6. And thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Logan Stevens alongside Ellie Euchre. Thank you for joining us here on ICRC Sports.